On this week's episode, is Baby Yoda a shameless ripoff? The Mandalorian Season 3 trailer leak, a star-studded Boston Fan Expo, and our horrible movie theater experiences. For the Hub on Hollywood, I'm James.
I'm Jamie, and I bet my movie experience is worse than yours. We'll see.
We'll see. All right, Jamie, another jam-packed, fun episode. Thank you for joining us. Those listening, those watching us out there on YouTube and on all the streaming services via our podcast service. Jamie, we got quite the feedback when it came to one of our previous topics, apparently a very hot topic regarding the new potential casting of Wolverine.
That's right. So it was Taron Egerton. We were talking about him potentially being the new Wolverine and whether he had the right look, the right prowess. And so a few folks chimed in on our Facebook, and we just want to give them a shout out. Wes Acton says that he would prefer Scott Eastwood to play the part, but that Egerton definitely is better than some of the other people that they have mentioned. So that, that's a fair observation. That's a fair opinion.
Scott Eastwood may be a little too tall, I think.
You think?
Maybe.
Is he a little too long for it?
Maybe a little too slender. I feel like Egerton is a little more. Not that he's short, but I think he's got that
stocky
build, that stocky build. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Who else? What else are they saying?
Scott Peltier says, "Nope, he's too young to be Wolverine," and maybe that he could be the son of Wolverine, but shouldn't play the new Wolverine, and that's his opinion. But you know what? Okay. Wolverine is supposed to be one consistent age. And I think you could age him up a little bit. You put some grime on him, you get the scruff, and, he might fit in. But do we know, where in the timeline this new Wolverine would be? Would it be prequel, sequel?
You know what? I don't know. I think they would just, because it's the MCU, potentially, they would just throw him in with the rest of... so there doesn't necessarily need to be an origin story of sorts. And so I could imagine a quote-unquote younger-looking Logan. I know that that Phase 4 of Marvel and the MCU, they're kind of going into the younger Avengers comic book thread. And so maybe a younger-looking Wolverine would fit in well, maybe?
Okay, yeah. I could definitely see that. Because they're actors, folks. We got to replace them. I know Wolverine never ages and all of that, but, the actors in real life do. So I think it would be kind of a seamless transition between those two actors, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah, I think so. Plus, there's multiverses, so there are a variety, a multitude of different versions of these characters.
I love how they've written in... their kind of excuse. It gives you, it's like a universal excuse for everything, which is wonderful. Yeah. It's great for my cosplay, because I don't have to go out and get the hair perfect or whatever. I'm just a variant from another universe, so.
Yeah, that works.
Ben Smothers says, why not? He's in the pro Egerton camp. And Helio Delgado just says, no. Thank you guys for
no
commenting.
Compromise.
No way, according to him. So thank you guys for commenting. If you have strong opinions one way or the other, join the conversation. We'll give you a shout out here. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, the Tiki Talks, anywhere you want to be. We're on YouTube. And wherever podcasts are heard, you can just listen up to us and take us wherever you're going. And we will give you a shout out here on the Hub on Hollywood.
That's right. And now you know who cannot be replaced is the man, the myth, the legend, Harrison Ford. He just celebrated his 80th birthday this past week.
Birthday,
can you
baby.
believe that? Happy birthday, Harrison. First of all, can you believe that? 80 years old.
I cannot believe it, because he has aged so well, and he's just as smarmy and energetic, and he's so very much like his characters in real life, and that is giving him life, I think. There's lots of actors in Hollywood that have, for example, played his father. There was Sean
Sean Connery.
Sean Connery, Mr. Connery, played his father, and
Yeah.
Harrison is actually older than Sean Connery. So he just looks so very good. I don't know what they're doing to preserve him, but I think it's because he's a very private person and he really takes care of himself. I guess Callista Flockhart cooks very healthy meals for him. I don't know, but he looks fantastic.
One thing
I love him so
Yeah.
much. He's my secret imaginary elderly boyfriend, and yes, we will always love Harrison Ford here. Happy birthday.
One thing I love about movies in general is that though our favorite actors, the people who portray these amazing characters, though they may get older, and though eventually, like all of us, we pass away, but their soul, their essence is preserved for eternity in movies as their characters on screen, on film. And so that's one thing I love and appreciate about movies is that even though he's 80 years old, you can appreciate a 20, 30, 40-year-old Harrison Ford kicking butt in some amazing classic roles. And so I think it's appropriate that we just do a quick run through of our top 5 Harrison Ford movies. And can I just throw out already Star Wars? I think the original trilogy, we can already say that's on both of our lists, right?
It's on both of our lists, but it's not at the top of mine.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
Okay.
So do you want to go down your list?
Yeah, so I would say number 1, my number 1 performance for Harrison Ford overall, and he has agreed, he has confirmed that he believes that this is one of his best performances of all time, was Indiana Jones. Indiana Jones, everything that he did in there, and just his smarmy winks, his charisma, the way that he was able to portray this character across the 3 movies. You know, some of the writing wasn't there in the later films, and I feel like they didn't do justice to the female characters so much, but the essence of Indiana Jones and everything that he portrayed was I love it so much.
Yeah.
I love it so much, and it's iconic, legendary, and forever will be at the top of my list. What about you?
Yeah, so I too have Indiana Jones, specifically Raiders of the Lost Ark and The Last Crusade. As you mentioned, the later films, which there's a new Indiana Jones 5 coming out as well shortly, but you can't beat Harrison Ford, Raiders of the Lost Ark, Last Crusade. That's like peak Harrison. And so that makes the list.
Agreed.
I think just because even though he is great in Star Wars and there is a very strong part or like a very, an emotional part of my heart that has Harrison, locked in with Star Wars and the whole trilogy. But the fact that Indiana Jones, he is the main character and he's leading the movie and everything's on his shoulders and he carries it perfectly and beautifully and does such an amazing job. So Indiana Jones follows right after Star Wars. Again, not a very specific order, but it's up there. My next movie that I love him in, and I love it because it's also a horror movie, and he plays the villain. Spoiler to those who haven't seen What Lies Beneath. With I'm forgetting, is it Gwyneth Paltrow? Not Gwyneth Paltrow. I'm forgetting his co-star. But What Lies Beneath, he is amazing in that horror scary movie, and he does play the bad guy, which he doesn't normally play the bad guy in his films, but he does it so well, and so that is an all-time Harrison Ford favorite of mine.
And the next 2 on my list, they're a little bit similar, but I would say my second favorite is Witness. If you've ever seen Witness, where he hides amongst the Amish and he's protecting the little boy who witnessed a murder of like some criminal kingpin guy, and they have to keep him safe. And I think just the quiet scenes and the drama and the real apex of action at the end of that movie, it made me feel so much, and like so much tension, so much. I was so afraid for this little boy, and the way that he kind of opened up and his character transforms. Like, his character has this incredible arc from this really closed off, angry person to he kind of learns to live amongst the Amish, and then he sacrifices everything to protect them. And I really, really love that. So Witness, followed by Fugitive.
Of course.
And I imagine that's on your list.
That's coming in at number 4, The Fugitive. Such iconic scenes with Tommy Lee Jones that have been spoof and parodied to to the world's end, including it on The Simpsons. But The Fugitive, an amazing performance by Mr. Ford. And my last film that I really love, and it may not be one of his top favorites, or people love it that much, even though I've never heard anybody speak badly of it. But regarding Henry, it came out in 1991, and it's more of a much more grounded film about this man who was a lawyer who gets shot in the head, and he has to pretty much regain how to his ability to speak, to walk, and to remember his own past. And to love too. And so regarding Henry, one of the best performances, like emotional performances of Harrison Ford. So that rounds up my top 5.
This is why we're friends, James. This is why we're friends, because no one knows regarding Henry, but that was all. That's also in my list. And yes, it really was, because he was this lawyer who didn't have enough time for his family, didn't have enough time for his children, and suddenly he is almost like a child himself, and he comes to love them so much. And even when he remembers who he used to be, he knows that this is a much better way of being. And it was just very emotional. So yes, regarding Henry, some honorable mentions. Okay, Sabrina, Star Wars, and one of the more recent ones, Morning Glory, where he plays...
Morning Glory, I've heard of that. I haven't seen it, but I know it's a must-see.
Yes, where he plays a cantankerous news anchor, and it's just so wonderful, and it ends with him and the female protagonist walking into the sunset, or the sunrise, in New York City. It's all about producing the news, and I love it. I wish it was my life. Like, that would be my ideal life, to be this news producer in a big market, and to have Harrison be my anchor and to walk into the sunset with him. So Morning Glory. And there's just way too many films to mention. Suffice it to say that we love Harrison Ford. We wish him a happy birthday again. What are your favorite Harrison Ford movies? Are there any big ones or little ones that we missed? Let us know. And again, we'll give you a shout out on the next episode.
All right. Now, speaking about shout-outs, there is one man out there who is shouting out and besmirching the noble name of Baby Yoda, Grogu, out there. Yes.
How dare he? What is happening?
So the director of Gremlins, which is a great movie in and of itself, which I'm sure you and I have seen and talked about in previous episodes as well.
Yes.
But the director, Joe Dante, he says Baby Yoda was shamelessly modeled after Gizmo.
Oh, no.
I don't believe it. So he talked about the longevity. Yeah.
Excuse me, who came first, Yoda or Gizmo? I'm going to take a wild guess and say it was Yoda.
Right. No, that is true. That is a fact. Now, but Joe Dante, however, he was talking about the longevity of the franchise, and he says it's thanks to Gizmo, who is essentially like a baby, and that brought him to the subject of Baby Yoda, who he says is completely stolen and is just an out-and-out copied shamelessly.
Yeah, he wishes. He wishes.
I think he wishes. Don't get me wrong. Gizmo is adorable. Gizmo is cute. I would love Gizmo as a little side companion if I had a motorcycle with a side little buggy car next to me. I would love that. However, to say that Baby Yoda and his cuteness and his essence is derived and shamelessly stolen from Gizmo, I think that is an unfair comparison, and I think I have the proof. Do you want to know what it is?
Oh my God, yeah, show me. What
So,
proof do you...
I just think, no, it's not really necessarily proof per se, but I think the director, is trying to get media attention. I think he's trying to drum up some buzz, because guess what? An animated Gremlins show is coming to HBO Max, and what better way to get attention than to stir the pot, to throw some wrenches in the machine and cause some controversy. So, does Joe Dante really believe Gizmo is the inspiration of Baby Yoda, or is Baby Yoda the hottest thing right now and he's trying to ride on the curtails?
He's trying to leech his popularity.
You be the judge.
Oh,
you decide, America.
Sing it, James. Sing it. Sing that truth. Spill that tea. Let the people know what's going on, okay? That's what we're here for. And, yeah, oh my God, you're absolutely right. You're 100% right, okay? Listen, Baby Yoda is its own thing. It was just Yoda with bigger eyes, and Yoda was already kind of cute to begin with, sort of. Kind of.
Yeah.
If you just, give
in
him
an
some
old
bigger
kind of
eyes.
way.
Get your own media attention, okay? Whatever.
Come on, Dante.
Whatever.
You won't
Why
make
can't
this
we all
another
just be
Dante's
friends?
Inferno. Yeah. Not up in here.
Can't we all be friends? How does that song go?
Why can't we be friends? Why can't... Yeah.
Exactly.
Come on, Joe.
How cute would it be if Gizmo and Baby Yoda were playing together, though?
Now, how about this? Better yet, what would be better, them playing together or battling each other? I think, now hear me out, that may be actually a good battle, because yes, Baby Yoda has the Force, he can throw Gizmo and do whatever, but if Gizmo's smart, he'll wet himself intentionally, multiply tenfold, and then now Baby Yoda's fighting an army of gremlins.
Oh my
now that's a movie.
gosh.
That's a movie, Joe. Do that. I'm sorry, I'm a little delirious. I'm sorry.
It's
That sounds like a terrible movie.
So.
It is kind of hot.
Oh my god. That's awesome.
But that brings me on to a great transition to The Mandalorian. Now, the official trailer for Season 3 has not debuted. However, like all good things, it has been leaked. The trailer that was shown at the Star Wars Celebration convention back in May has made itself online, of course, somebody's cell phone. And so we've seen some video, not the best quality, but what we do see is we see Din Djarin, we see Baby Yoda, we see Bo-Katan.
Spoiler alert.
But these are reoccurring characters, so not entirely spoilers, but we do see Bo-Katan, we do see Grief Karga, who's played by Carl Weathers. And so basically the gist of this trailer of what we get, if you don't want a spoiler for this, I don't think this spoils the season, but this kind of lightly spoils the trailer, I guess. But what we do see is Mando traveling to Mandalore, of course, and at the end of Season 2, spoiler, you should already have seen Season 2 by now. But Mando takes off his helmet at the very end when Baby Yoda is being handed over to Luke Skywalker, and because of that, he is no longer officially seen as a Mandalorian. And so to regain his honor, he must travel to Mandalore and to receive his forgiveness. And so we find out that this is what the season's mostly going to be about, him, Baby Yoda, in this Naboo starfighter traveling off to Mandalore. And we find out also that Bo-Katan may end up being one of the main villains in this new season, and we do get a glimpse of that in the previous season because, what does she want? She wants the dark saber. Who has the dark saber? Mando. But, he can't just give it to her. It has to be won in battle. And so I think Bo-Katan, they're setting it up where they're going to have this one-on-one fight. She wants to have the dark saber, so she is the leader once again, the true ruler of Mandalore. Again, we see more Baby Yoda, some more cute stuff, him flipping around in the Naboo starfighter, and we also see more Mandalorians in battle, and we see an Empire Star Destroyer. But other than that, not much to spoil. But that's what we get in this leaked Season 3 trailer.
Well, that's sort of what we already knew was coming, though the Bo-Katan stuff is an interesting twist. I'm just so excited to have it back. It's been a while. There's been a long gap in between. So I'm excited to see our Mando back, our Baby Yoda back. I was a little worried last season that Grogu was going to be staying with Luke. But we did get to see that version of Luke Skywalker and him preparing his academy, which all leads up to the events of the sequels. And I know that baby Kylo Ren, baby Ben Solo, is about 4 or 5 years old at this point in the timeline. I think on my wish list would be seeing baby Ben Solo or an older Ben Solo, depending on where we are in the timeline, at some point, like the beginning of when he arrives at the training grounds there with Luke or whatever.
At the temple.
That would be on my my want list. Do you have any wants that you want from this new season?
Yeah, honestly, and I will go back to Season 2. I would have been, again, if you haven't seen the Book of Boba, Mando reacquires Baby Grogu from Luke after Was it in Book of Boba? Because there were 2 episodes where it became basically the Mandalorian episodes it shows again,
Yeah.
and Baby Yoda chooses to go with Mando once more. But a part of me kind of wishes that Baby Yoda would have stayed with Luke, and that would have been kind of the end of what we heard of Baby Yoda, kind of like the mystery of what happens, obviously with the temple. And Ben Solo, maybe he escapes, and you don't know what happens. And then season 3 would be following Mando again, going out on his own, doing his own adventures. A part of me would have liked to have seen that. However, at the same time, I am liking what I saw for season 3, and I'm excited for the continued father-son collaboration adventure in this. So I'm looking forward to it. That was my only wish, but just a temporary wish that the Baby Yoda would have stayed with Luke, because that would have been interesting to see as well.
I feel like it was such a formula that worked. I feel like maybe initially the whole plan was to have like Baby Grogu for 1 season and then have Mando go off on various other adventures, but that that combination of him and Baby Grogu worked so much, was so intensely liked by the audience, that they decided to keep it. So it's not a bad decision to make, especially broke. Financially. If it ain't broke, exactly. So we are definitely looking forward to that.
Now, what we are also looking forward to is Boston Fan Expo. It was disrupted for a bit because of the pandemic, but we are back, in quote-unquote post-pandemic. Everything's back to normal somewhat. But Boston Fan Expo is returning to the Boston Convention Center in the Seaport District August 12th through the 14th. We're going to try to do, something there, get some interviews or whatnot, but the guest list, the celebrity guest list, is incredible this year. I don't know if it was because of the pandemic and these celebrities couldn't go to many of these conventions, but it seems like everybody and their mother is out here coming to Boston. And I think the top tier A-list that everybody's talking about, clamoring about, is a Mr. Ewan McGregor, and that's going to be amazing to see after Kenobi, the show, the Disney Plus series that just wrapped up. So Ewan McGregor, one of the fan, if not the fan favorite at this year's Expo, but we have a huge list of some other celebrities that are going to be out here. And if you don't mind, Jamie, I can do a quick kind of rundown of who's going to be there.
Yeah, let's do it. Who's the who?
So we have Elijah Wood, Sean Astin from Lord of the Rings. They are coming back along with some other cast members from the amazing Lord of the Rings series. David Tennant from Doctor Who is going to be appearing as well. I understand that you also like Doctor Who, right? Are you a Doctor Who fan?
My brother is a gigantic Doctor Who's fan, so he's been trying to get me into it. I have a lot to catch up on, like a lot, but I am enjoying it, yes.
So David Tennant will be there. Giancarlo Esposito, Mandalorian, of course, and from Breaking Bad, he will be there as well as Ming-Na Wen, who is from the Book of Boba Fett, and who was also the voice actress for Mulan, the 1998 cartoon Mulan. Keeping on the Star Wars theme, Anthony Daniels, also known as C-3PO, will be there.
Incredible.
Ashley Eckstein, who plays Ahsoka Tano from the Clone Wars series. She is going to be there. Kevin James, Jason Mewes from Jay and Silent Bob, famously. We have Tom Welling and Michael Rosenbaum from Smallville coming back. One of my favorite celebrities that are going to be there are from Cobra Kai, Mr. William Zabka and Martin Kove, who play Johnny Lawrence and John Kreese. If you have not started watching Cobra Kai, get on it. It is so good. The show it's much better than what it should be. Like on paper, if you put down, the Karate Kid, 20, 30 years later, where are these characters now? On paper, it does not sound like it should be good, but it is actually great. I cannot speak more highly of Cobra Kai. So really looking forward to them. Mm-hmm. Lastly, we also have Chris Sarandon, who plays the prince in The Princess Bride, and some other members of the cast of Clerks. Also, obviously related to Kevin James and Jason Mewes as well. But an amazing list. I'm not sure who you are most excited for.
Oh, Prince Humperdinck.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes, he just voiced, he was the voice of Jack in The Nightmare Before Christmas also. Not a lot of people know that. And since my children are now currently obsessed with that, I want to go and say, I met Jack. But an unbelievable list of a lot of A-listers and everything that you love. The whole Lord of the Rings reunion. I definitely want to be there for that. And of course, Ewan. If I can get Ewan McGregor, I mean, I can just die happy, right?
He's the white buffalo.
He is the white buffalo.
We must
what else
get
is
him.
there to accomplish, right?
Awesome. Well, let us know if you plan to go to Fan Expo this year. Again, because of the pandemic, it shook up a lot of plans over the previous recent years, and so a lot of people have been hankering to go back as well. We actually have an episode last year of when Jamie and I went there, got some great interviews as well, so check out that episode. We'll link it down below, because that was a really fun one, too. And so, but if you are able to go, who are you looking forward to seeing the most? Who do you want to get a photo with? Who do you want to get an autograph with? There's also selling a lot of merchandise, including lightsabers and every other Fantasy World weapon out there. So that's really great. So if you are planning to go, comment down below. If you're watching us on YouTube, thank you so much. Please subscribe, please like, give us a share, show us some love. If you're listening to us on any of the major podcasting streaming services like iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, thank you so much. Take us on the road with you. And as Jamie said earlier, you can follow us on all the social medias, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, at Hub on Hollywood. Man, so much to fill, so much to talk about, so little time.
There it is. But we want, so we will see you guys at Fan Expo Boston because you need to be there. We also want to see you on set because there are a number of huge productions coming to Massachusetts this summer. Things are getting underway. Madam Web just started filming this past week. And that's the latest installment in the Sony Spider-Verse.
Whatever they're doing,
starring Dakota Johnson, and it is filming here in Massachusetts. So we are so very excited about that. But we've got a number of other castings today, James, that need people now, whether it's commercials or television. So I'm going to start with this one, James. Boston Tour Company is using through Boston Casting. They are looking for extremely outgoing, energetic, personable actors and actresses for a TV movie-themed bus tour that is coming to the city, which is awesome because we are Hollywood East. That's why we're called the Hub on Hollywood. Every year there's more and more film and TV being shot here. So now we're going to have a very own tour. And if you guys want to be one of the tour guides, here's a great opportunity for you. James, I think you would be great at this, by the way.
Should I try for it? Yeah, I think that'd be fun.
If you didn't already have a great day job, this I think you would be so fantastic at. So you need to be very familiar with Boston movies and shows. Hello. Likeable, strong leader, very personable, and who has the resilience, I guess, to lead a 3.5 hour long bus tour. That is a lot of talking for 90 minutes. You need to know the Boston neighborhoods and streets as well as you can. I'm sure you can also get up to speed on these things. And stand-up comedy and improv experience is a plus. So if that sounds like you or something you're interested in, you really want to go for, you are going to want to send a headshot and resume to Dejana, that's spelled Dejana, at onlocationtours, plural.com. So that's Dejana at onlocationtours.com.
That's really cool. That's really exciting. Just see the best of Boston and what it has to offer for all these amazing shooting locations.
I can't wait to ride
what we have else? Oh, I know. We need to do an episode on that bus on the 3 hour tour.
We're gonna work on that for you guys.
3 hour tour. We have CP Casting, also looking for girls and women aged between 14 and 21 years old for a TV series. They're looking for roles. This is speaking roles. for TV that will be filming and working on several days this fall here in Massachusetts. So if you have a resume, an acting reel, send your name, phone, date of birth, where you live, photos, resume, send all that to invitationsubmission@gmail.com for a TV series filming here in Massachusetts for girls and women between 14 and 21 years old.
Awesome. And Slate Casting is looking for folks down in the DMV. So if you know anyone in DC, Maryland, and Virginia, they are looking for real families of 4 who have teenagers between the ages of 12 and 17. This pays really well, and it's for a one-day shoot later this summer. So if you're interested or you know anyone else who might be interested, you're going to want to send a few current photos, name, ages of the kids, contact information, city and state you live in, to slaterealpeoplecasting@gmail.com.
All right, some really great stuff, and we can't wait to see you on the big screen, the big screen or the small television screen for that TV series in particular. But talking about things that we are watching, where we're going, more people are going to the movie theater once again. Now, pandemic aside, there was one big reason why people were ditching the movie theater experience, and that's because they got fed up with people who ruin the movie, either by talking or by texting or by doing everything in between. And so we have some really good news coming to Boston, specifically in the Seaport District. Alamo Drafthouse, that movie theater that is has a reputation for being very strict when it comes to its no talking, no texting policy. They are not afraid to kick people out if they are ruining the movie for other people. Well, Alamo Drafthouse, they are coming to the Seaport District early next year, early 2023. So I'm really looking forward to this. This will be the first Alamo Drafthouse in New England, with 10 screens, luxury recliner seats, and a separate full-service bar. I'm already sold.
Let's go.
Yeah, so a lot of people are excited about this. Again, the Alamo Drafthouse, they are known for just being, they want to make the movie-going experience worth your time and your money especially, and they know that people are tired of people ruining the movie, and I think that's a great topic for us to launch into some of our own horror movie theater experiences. Jamie, I understand that you have one that many people can relate to, especially for those going on first dates with potential suitors.
With potential suitors, right? Yes, with all of the suitors coming to call right after high school. I went to a movie with one of my friends from high school, who's a guy who had a crush on me at the time. And you know what, James? I should have known better. Even before I went, I should have known better. He was a class clown. He terrorized the teachers. This kid was known for talking and not knowing when to not talk. And guess where you shouldn't be talking? In the middle of a movie. So we went to go see Superman Begins. One of the Supermans where,
Superman Returns.
Superman Returns. And, Lois Lane has his kid, but she's married to someone else and all of that. I really liked it. I really enjoyed the movie.
Yeah, I enjoyed it too.
However, I had to watch it a second time because when I went the first time with this guy, who's still a good friend, but, did not become a boyfriend after this.
Who shall remain nameless.
And shall remain nameless. He lives in another country now. He probably won't watch this. But anyways, he talked the entire time. And not only was he talking the whole movie, he was making fun of the movie the whole time.
Oh, no.
He's like, oh, this is so stupid, and oh, yeah, I can't believe this, and oh, who's gonna think about that? And he wasn't even whispering, he was almost in a normal voice, talking continuously, nonstop for 2 hours and mocking the film. Everyone around us was looking back at me. I was so embarrassed. I could not get him to stop. So suffice it to say, that was the only date, and I had to go watch the movie again because I actually enjoyed it when I got to hear it. So please
I enjoyed
don't
it too.
do that, folks.
Side note, that's actually one of my favorite Superman costumes,
iterations.
like iterations that they've done. I think they nail the costume for that Superman. Now, I know you said that he had a crush on you. Did you have a crush on him? Did that vanish after this experience?
It was damaged after that experience. Yeah.
Oh, no. I think you dodged a bullet.
This is good friend material here.
Very nice, very nice. Well, I've had several horror movie theater experiences as well, but there's not one that tops my experience when I went to go see Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
Oh, no.
Now, for those who are familiar with the Guardian movies, both 1 and 2, they are known for having such great soundtracks. And you know, every movie, every song in the movies is perfectly placed, and, you know, it helps move the story along.
Yeah.
And it is part of a character itself in these movies. Now, I've had people who've talked in movie theaters. I've been near people who text and their phones are shining in the movie theaters. I have never been to one where the guy literally sitting right next to me is singing every song.
Oh, no.
During the movie. And like during the talking and during everything. And so not only was this guy singing every song, but this guy was also like in his late 50s or whatever. He was like an old biker dude with a leather jacket and like a ponytail.
Yeah.
And this guy, and throughout the entire movie, like, I'm trying my best to like enjoy the movie, but he is literally singing every song. Not low, but loud enough. Again, he's right next to me, so that added more to the annoyance and the proximity of it. And so at a certain point halfway through, I lost it. And when I say lost it, I'm being very, very cordial when I lean over and I whisper, "Hey, excuse me, you're being a little too loud." And in a whisper, "Excuse me, you're being a little too loud." He goes, oh, I'm being too loud, am I? In the theater, just like out loud.
Oh my
and
God.
Just makes a big show of it. Like, "Oh, I'm being too loud. I guess we can't have fun anymore in the movie theater. Oh, heaven forbid we laugh or we have a good time in the movie theater out loud." And I'm like, it's not people laughing, cheering, especially, you know, opening weekend. Marvel movie, you're expecting laughing, applause, you know, shock. I'm expecting that. But this dude is literally singing every song in the theater. And so he's like, for the rest of the movie, the duration of the movie, he's literally huffing and puffing like, and he's even saying to his wife who's sitting to his right, "Man," like again out loud, "Man, I just want to punch somebody so bad right now." And he's like he's having a tantrum for the rest of the movie theater. And I'm at this point, I'm not responding. I'm not going to fight a 50-year-old guy in a movie theater over Guardians of the Galaxy. So I'm just going to let him huff and puff. And he's like mad dogging me, looking at me the entire time, huffing and puffing, doing his thing and his tantrum. The movie ends.
Jeez.
And he gets up and he looks at me and goes, "I'm gonna see you outside. Like, just wait for it. I'm gonna see you outside." And he walks past me back towards the aisle, and I'm with my best friend Brian at the time, and I'm looking at him, and I'm like looking and I'm smiling, like, what the hell just happened? And I guess he saw me smiling and laughing because he comes back. He walks back while everybody is like leaving the theater. Of course, we're waiting for the after credits, and he says like, "Oh, I can't believe you! Like, you know, I'm gonna see you outside. You pissed me off. Whatever." His wife, even as she was walking by, goes, "I can't believe you did that to me." And I'm like, "What did I do? Like, what did I do?" All I said in a whisper. Yeah, in a whisper, I said, "Excuse me, you're being a little too loud." The people behind me, after the guy left, they were like, "What was that about?" And I said, I just whispered that he was being too loud because he was singing every song. And then, like, again, everybody was on my side. And long story short, my friend and I, after the credits and the after scenes, and we go outside, like, looking around, and of course he's gone. But man, was that the worst movie experience I've ever had. And it was a story as I've told right now.
James, you were not in the wrong. You were not in the wrong.
Oh my goodness.
Who does that? No one does that.
Who does that?
And just because someone politely asked you to be a little bit not, as obnoxious and loud, that is a crazy sense of entitlement.
He was upset. "Oh, you can't have fun in the movie theater. You can't laugh. You can't have a good time." Like,
no, that's not what he was doing.
That was not what you were doing. If you were laughing out loud, and again, this is opening weekend. I'm expecting applause, roar, boo. The movie Marvel Experience. I'm expecting that. I'm not expecting this dude to be singing over every song while dialogue is going on with the characters going on and on and on. Because, they're playing songs from the 70s and 80s. Yeah, and so whoever this man is, if you're watching this episode, just know
you suck.
You're in the wrong.
You were in the wrong.
Hopefully you learned a lesson.
God.
Hopefully your wife realized and came to realization that you were in the wrong too, and
Sounds
shamed
like she's
you.
an enabler.
But that's my rant. That's my rant. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
It's okay.
What's your
James.
horror movie story? Your horror movie theater experience?
Yeah.
Was it as worse as mine? Was it as worse as Jamie's? Let us know. Comment down below. Now I'm all riled up.
It's okay. I'm sorry. It's okay.
Okay,
At least you didn't get your butt kicked, like the guy didn't actually assault you. So
I don't want to fight a 50-year-old biker dude. That's not on my things to do that day or that night.
Yeah.
Let us know. Comment down below. What's your worst experience?
Yeah. And if you feel like singing all the lyrics to every song, do that at home, guys. Do that at home.
Do it at home.
That's not the right
Don't
place.
go to the movie theater. No.
Yeah. And don't go to that draft house, the new one. They'd kick
they
him
will
out
kick
for
you out
James.
in a heartbeat.
They would kick him out for you, and you would get your vindication. So we can't wait to go there. Like James said, share your horror story with us. And, the place to make that noise and all of that, like we said, is at home. So what have you been watching at home, James, that you can actually enjoy and be boisterous and loud about?
Most recently, this is a classic. It's another Nicolas Cage film. My wife and I, we're going through the Nicolas Cage filmography.
Wow,
and
still?
last night,
That's a lot.
Yeah, we still are. We can't get enough of this Cage-a-sance. And so we revisited the 1994 film It Could Happen to You, which follows basically Nicolas Cage, who plays this New York City cop, and Bridget Fonda, who plays this waitress. And basically this is based off a true story where this customer at this diner, he promises, he gives his word, hey, to the waitress, you pick the lotto tickets, or you pick the lotto numbers to the ticket I have, of some sort, and I'll split the winnings for you. And in this real life example, the waitress picks the lotto numbers, the guy, he paid for the lotto ticket, and they won multi-million-dollar jackpot. And they split the money, and that's basically the plot for It Could Happen to You. And my wife and I watched it last night. It was very fun, very enjoyable, little rom-com. The end, it felt like there was a lull at the end, but it picks back up. But a fun Nicolas Cage, Bridget Fonda movie. If you are in the Cage-a-sance kind of mindset, It Could Happen to You. Check it out.
Yay.
All right. What about yourself?
And I managed to finish off 2 different TV shows, despite the fact that my TV crapped the bed and completely died. So I've been watching on my laptop after the kids fall asleep. It's so sad. But anyways, I finished The Last Kingdom. This is season 5 of The Last Kingdom on Netflix. It's about this character, Uhtred Ragnarsson, who's actually based on someone's true ancestor. So this all takes place in 1200s England. It was before England was England. So Uhtred was this Saxon noble boy. He was a nobleman who's betrayed by his father, and his uncle steals his ancestral lands and tries to kill him. And he gets taken in by the Danes, and the Danes is what they used to call the Vikings back then. So he gets adopted by Earl Ragnarsson and grows up to be this incredible warrior who comes to be in the service of King Alfred, who was one of the real kings during that time, and King Alfred's children. So it's really cool. Season 5, Uhtred fails to regain his ancestral home again. Spoiler alerts, if you haven't already caught up on The Last Kingdom. He loses his best friend, Beoka, and he has to learn to be a father to his estranged son, who Alfred sent away to live in a church. And a lot of the conflict surrounds the kingdom of Mercia, that's being sacked by Danes, and the king doesn't want to send aid, so the sister steals away, and with the help of the queen, they force Edward's hand, they raise an army, they defeat the Danes, but then Winchester gets taken by another group of Danes. it's it's a lot of politics and
These dang Danes.
these dang Danes. I know they wanted the land, and I think it's just really cool to see the politics and the dynamics of that time, and how when you leave one place with your army, that leaves your home vulnerable, and another force comes in and they take your home, and then it was just constant battle, constant conflict, and so it's just really cool to see that. And this character Uhtred somehow is like the force behind all of these victories and battle and politics. So I'm sure they kind of exaggerate that a little bit, but it's still really fun to see. It's bloody, it's fascinating, it's sexy, it's historic, there's great fight sequences, and it's grounded in enough reality that, I really, really enjoy it. So I recommend The Last Kingdom, catch up on it, it's really fun to see.
Would you say those who like Game of Thrones will like The Last Kingdom?
Yes. I think that they will. There's not as much magic. There's no magic. It's based in the reality of that time. And sure, there were people who thought that they were witches and mages and stuff like that, but it's all like grounded in reality. Like, oh, take this potion, but it's it's just leaf water.
It's really like Alka-Seltzer, yeah.
Yeah, there's no real magic in this, but I think you still get a lot out of it. I really, really enjoy it. The Danes were sassy mother effers. I don't know if I can say that. And I also caught up on Umbrella Academy.
I will ask you this.
Yes.
Please, no spoilers, because that's a show that I do want to start watching. But do you recommend watching it?
Absolutely.
All right.
Zany, campy, eccentric, and the characters, the chemistry between the characters and their deep family dysfunction is so enjoyable. And they don't play anything too dark. I mean, there is a lot of dark. There's a lot of dark humor. It's a lot, but they play it so well. There's enough like comedic relief that it just makes it enjoyable to watch all the way through. There's enough mystery and emotional conflict. It's great. It's great. You're really going to enjoy it. So definitely recommend The Umbrella Academy. Watch it all the way through. And this is one of the only shows that, after watching this season, I want to go back and rewatch the whole thing. It makes me want to do that. So that's very high on the Jamie recommend list.
All right, good to know. I'm already sold. Well, let us know what we should watch. What do you recommend? What are you watching right now that people should know about, should learn about, and dive headfirst into? But yeah, another action-packed, jam-packed episode of the Hub on Hollywood.
That's right.
Yeah. Again,
Always
thank you so much for watching. Yeah, it always is. It really is. Thank you so much for joining us on this week's episode. We will be back for another episode in very, very, very soon, next week, most likely. So, yeah, tune in, show us some love, give us some shares, give us some likes, and we'll see you next time. But for the Hub on Hollywood, I'm James.
I'm Jamie. See you next time.